Welcome to It All Boils Down to This, the podcast where father and son take the kitchen table arguments and heated discussions from their home directly to yours. Jim and Jack Boyle will explore the world as only they can. We might even let a few guests join the fun. So sit back, choose a side, watch the water temperature rise, and enjoy stimulating generational conversation about sports and life. Okay, welcome to episode 20. It all boils down to this. I'm Jim Boyle with Jack Boyle today. Thanks a lot, David Immendorf. Once again, Core Discord. That's one of our top songs, Catacombs, leading us into the show. Jack picked that one out especially for our 20th episode. The first episode of 2024, Jack, a lot happened over the last week and a half since we've been gone. Most importantly was the college football playoff actually happened. Alabama, Michigan, another outstanding game, and then Washington, Texas, which I did not see the end of because I fell asleep. I don't know if you did, but quick take, Alabama, Michigan.
It was a great game. And the funniest thing about the reaction of the game is the Florida State people. First off, I was sympathetic to Florida State. You lost by 60, and then Alabama went to overtime with Michigan. Probably should have won the game. They had a lead late in the fourth quarter. It's crazy. It's crazy just the reaction that Florida State fans have had. Alabama shouldn't have made it. That was an all-time great game. It was perfect that the committee put Alabama in, not Florida State. If Florida State played that game, it wouldn't have been anywhere near a good game. It would have been just a boring, kind of like Iowa-Michigan type game. So that was an awesome game. There's a lot to say about it, but that was an awesome game. I'm disappointed with the way it ended, but it was a great game. Great watch.
I will say I agree with you on our fans from Florida State. They have nothing to complain about.
Turn your thing up a little bit, your mic. I can see, just a little bit. Yeah. I like it. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Well, I don't like how I sound.
Well, you're a little bit quiet today. It's quieter.
I like being quiet.
All right. Yeah. Well, I like being able to hear you.
I know. All right. So back to Florida State. Nothing to complain about. Half their team opted out. We're going to talk about that a little bit later too today. Great game. The committee didn't get the committee sort of got weird, but ended up getting two great football games. So how can you complain?
Yeah. No.
The only issue I have with it is that the second game didn't start till 9:05.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And I think that to me, I mean, it's 11:30 and it's halftime, and I was about done by then.
Especially it was like a holiday. The New Year's is a holiday, so they could have started. The problem is you can't play the first game at 11 o'clock local time. So
correct.
I don't know. That was annoying, and that was a very late start to that game. But the national championship probably be started around that time too. That's what's crazy. They started at 9 or they started at 8.
Hopefully they'll go at 8. We'll find out. It's in Houston though too, so it'll be a little bit different situation. But again, two really great football games, and you can't complain if you get great football games. I thought Michigan really did a great job defensively and beating up on the offensive line of Alabama. It was obvious that
in the first half.
It was obvious.
How many sacks did they have in the second half? One, maybe.
That's because Alabama made a change.
A little bit, yeah. I thought Alabama just started to play more physical and all that. Yeah.
Well, they changed the way they ran their offense. He was getting the ball out quicker.
I guess.
And then, like I said, why he didn't run all the time, I have no idea. He's not the Heisman Trophy quarterback that my friend Kevin thinks he's going to be. But other than that, it's really kind of weird that would happen.
Talk about Bill O'Brien actually getting proven right. He rags on Bill O'Brien for calling him a running back, and then what does he do? He shows everyone, Jesus, he's a running back. I mean, my God, he cannot throw the football. I don't know what Kevin saw to think he's going to be the Heisman next year. You got to make, Lamar Jackson, he scrambles as well as Lamar Jackson. He scrambles as good as anyone I've ever seen, honestly.
Yes,
as well as Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's about to win his second MVP in the pros. He won the Heisman, obviously. He could throw the football. He can throw the football. This kid cannot throw the football.
I totally agree with that, and I thought that, and I hate to say Michigan because I picked them, I still hate them. I hate Harbaugh. That quarterback, he made some good plays the last drive to tie it up. And then they just count on the running back to win the game for them, and their defense, of course, to win the game for them. So it'll be interesting to see how all that plays out in the next round, which Texas, Washington. How long did you stay up for that?
Not too much. I heard Penix played great. We'll see in the finals. I want Washington to win just because I hate Michigan so much, but to almost be proven right because I think Michigan's just going to dominate them. I think Alabama would have beat them. I think Michigan's going to dominate them.
I'll still root for Washington. Penix was awesome. I think the thing I worry about Washington is that coach made some, if I'm reading this, I did not see this. The coach made some dumb mistakes down the stretch and gave the Texas an opportunity to come back and win the football game.
He did weird things in that Was it the Big 12, not the Big 12,
Yes.
the Pac-10 championship game? Remember
Yeah.
that? He went for it on fourth down in like his own territory. It ended up working
that
for him.
was
But
Washington State before the Pac-12.
before the Pac-12. Yeah, no. Let's just go to Kevin. We'll get more in-depth with some of these games a little bit, and he'll talk about them. He talks about a couple of the earlier bowl games
Our
here.
college football analyst
Brags a
Kevin.
little bit about his lock record, loser. He first off, actually before he goes,
lock record.
he bet on Alabama yesterday, and he was just such a baby and a quitter on the game. And anytime it got tough, like Alabama was up by 7, he fumbled, and immediately he was done with the game. Immediately he quit.
I know you're playing.
It goes to overtime. I mean, they were
his voice text for me. All right, so Kevin, here we go.
The semifinals. Just want to note that Ole Miss and Mizzou covered. Even though Mizzou got retracted due to me and Jack evening out the amount of overall locks we had throughout the season, just want to note that game covered too. And congrats to Ole Miss. They're going to be a wagon next year, and very much look forward to watching that team. Going to be really exciting. SEC, is just going to be a great conference.
Jackson Dart's eye black was so obnoxious.
Probably the third best team in that conference.
Anakin Skywalker.
Let's see what happens there. Also want to note, just earlier today, Tennessee played Iowa, and their true freshman quarterback came in. He's Hawaiian and has like a crazy last name that I can't pronounce, but he's going to be replacing Joe Milton next year, and he looks like a really good player. Really, really good player.
Quick on Iowa. The Big Ten West this year was actually Wisconsin. LSU ended up winning, right?
Yeah.
But Wisconsin gave them a good game. Wisconsin probably was. They just had some struggles early in the year. Probably was the best team in the Big Ten West. The Big Ten West is like Iowa was being a top even 25 teams. Insane. They're terrible. They're awful. They played, I think, 4 or 5 ranked opponents this year. Didn't score a single touchdown.
Yeah. So what are they doing playing in a playoff?
Well,
game?
that's the thing because they made the Big Ten championship. You know what? That's all gone next year. Like
Right, that's right.
the
You're
times
right,
of Iowa, and it looks
right.
like Nebraska's coming up a little bit.
The Big Ten didn't do too well bowl season anyway, so I don't know.
No, but they're going to probably win the national championship, and the 2 teams in it are technically now 2 Big Ten teams because Washington's going to the Big Ten, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Just want to note that quickly too. But overall betting recap, I didn't bet a lot during bowl season, but I am at 61, 56, and 3 right now, and 8 and 2 on locks with Ole Miss and Washington covering tonight. I know we've been talking back and forth about, what are we going to name our lock trophy for next year? Like, who are we going to name it after? I think it's pretty obvious. I think it needs to be named after myself. It's just been an incredible.
we're probably going to name it after
season for me, with
Mr.
locks.
Trevisani, the senior. What's his name?
Bama, Michigan.
Joey.
Joey Trevisani.
Joseph
Trevisani Senior?
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
Felt like I was watching Milroe play from like October. Like, he just couldn't throw the ball. Great on the run, but yeah, he just, it was a tough look for my 2024 Heisman pick. Overall, just need to be better. With that being said, Michigan's defense is fantastic. But yeah, was very disappointed in him tonight. Just want to quickly note, Alabama's center, I'll just say this in the nicest way possible. He needs to get run out of town.
He was awful.
It was an embarrassing performance tonight from him.
I don't want to hear it.
It's inexcusable. You're Alabama center.
Excusable. He made a bad snap. You pick it up. You're right.
Like, it blew my mind.
Whatever.
Tommy Rees, my Notre Dame guy.
Yeah.
Play calling was really bad down the stretch, especially at 1st and 2nd and goal at the very end there in OT. I don't. It made zero sense. It made zero sense. Really bad look for him. Overall, Rees and Milroe really improved throughout the season, and then today it seems like a huge step back. Maybe it was like loss of momentum overall. Maybe you have to give some credit to Michigan as well. But yeah, really tough on Alabama's offense tonight, and they got outplayed. Michigan dominated first half, and I think, what was it, like 13-10 at half? Should have been probably at least 10 points in Michigan's favor at that point, but it wasn't. So, yeah, just overall, really bad performance from Alabama. And I knew as soon as that Corum play, the pass down the right-hand side, it ended up being an illegal block in the back, but they still got the first down. That happened at some point in the 4th quarter. I think they were maybe down 7 or something like that, maybe 10. Just knew the game was over at that point. I just felt had that gut instinct.
Yeah.
And I think the better team moved on. I think Michigan is the better team than Alabama, and they deserve to be there. So look forward to seeing them in the final against Washington.
All right, so a few things. We started off.
First?
No, well, he mentioned a few things. We'll go through it. We already talked about Milroe. That was the first thing. Played like he did in October when Kevin was saying Bama blows because the quarterback's playing like that. They look terrible when the quarterback plays like that. Honestly, they do. But they have enough talent to obviously win all these games.
Yeah.
The center, that was, the biggest issue with the center was Kirk Herbstreit talking about he made 2 terrible snaps in a row, and Kirk Herbstreit's going, well, these weren't really that terrible of snaps. The quarterback's got to really make a play. He's athletic. He's got to pick the ball up. The snap was rolled to him, the one that he said wasn't a bad snap. It was a terrible snap. Stop posting pictures of your stupid golden retriever, Ben. All we see is that dog. Figure out how to call the game. He was terrible last night. I thought they both were terrible last night.
I got to admit, Jack, you did not like Herbstreit last night.
He's annoying me.
That's the truth. But as a former long snapper myself,
that was long snapping, though.
I know. It
was
still
just
the
snapping.
same thing. It's still snapping. I think the one was bad. The one that he made a good catch on was okay.
But that last play of the game, they said it could have been it could have cost him.
It could cost him. But he got tripped by his own runner. They had the right play call.
No, I know.
If you look at the 22 cam, they had the right play call. They got the end for Michigan comes way into the backfield. That would have been opening up, and he got tripped up. At Saban, they had said Saban went and said the first time we had our play call, we called 3 different plays. The first time they called timeout, then we called timeout, then they called timeout. We switched plays. It must have been a bad play.
Look, I think it was a bad snap because I think he was throwing that football if it's a better snap. He had the guy open to throw. It would have been a foot race to the end zone if the 2 receivers made their blocks.
Possibly.
Now, speaking of play calling, Tommy Rees, oh my God, the Notre Dame guy, that was a disaster. He did make a little bit of good adjustments in the second half, but I thought that was more just the Bama players come out and playing more. Their offense wasn't really that great in the second half either. He was terrible the whole game. Tommy Rees, they had horrible. The first half they had some horrible first down plays. The goal to go situation in overtime, terrible, just awful coaching. And someone wrote an article about how he revolutionized the Alabama offensive coordinator position after all these years of blah blah blah. What? He's terrible.
He's got how many national championships?
0. They said it took him because I think he might have played against Alabama. It took him 12 years to finally beat Alabama.
I believe that. Back to the whole Alabama did not play poorly. They got pushed around. It's the first time I think in a while they played a Big Ten team who actually was physical enough to push them around, especially the defensive line. And and I give the quarterback a lot of credit. He sucked, but when he ran, he was unstoppable. And for some reason, they never got him in those running lanes. And you made the call early. They should be running the football. So I could blame that on the coordinator. All of a sudden he's trying to make this guy Johnny Heisman. So we'll see what happens. But again, I had Michigan, you had Alabama, so I'll chalk that one up for me.
Yeah, and Kevin also said they dominated, the better team won. I think I'll say Michigan's a little bit of the better team just because I thought they were Michigan rarely had defensive collapses where they just had no idea what they were doing. Number 32 on Alabama, he was directing the defense. He had no idea where he was on half the plays. And there were a lot of times where they were just open, easy plays for Michigan. I don't think there were that many of those for Alabama.
I think the only area Alabama won one area hugely.
Oh my God!
Special teams. Their punter and their kicker were phenomenal. The kicker and the snapper for our friends from Michigan, they missed the extra point. They muffed a punt. They almost muffed a punt in the end zone. That would have cost them the ball game. It's just amazing that they survived all that. The kicker missed a field goal. So again, I always think in big time games, the people who have the best special teams are always going to win, and that obviously wasn't the case. So. Again, we go on. Alabama goes home, takes their 12-2 record, and takes their national championships.
There's all the people, like I said, the FSU people that Bama didn't deserve to either. Bama was up by 7 points, had the ball fumbled, ended up getting a stop, got the ball back up by 7 points, went 3 and out, I think. Gave up the touchdown, had the ball again with a chance to get just a field goal. They needed one field goal on either of these 3 drives, they win the game. And to get to the field goal for them is the 40-yard line. That's field goal range for them.
Yes.
All they had to do on those 3 plays, that's how close they were to winning that game. So
no, I agree with that. I think it was probably I don't remember the Texas game when they beat USC out of the Rose Bowl was great with Vince Young there. But
it's great setting.
That was a really and I think we talked about that too. The Rose Bowl, you can't beat.
That was my pick.
Yeah. That. And I will say that
1-1.
The game was great. It lived up to expectations. It set everything up, and now we go to the next game. Kevin's going to lead us into that.
I wonder what the ratings were.
Probably not as good as you think.
And like I said in my last call, for Washington, Texas, I wouldn't have been surprised if Washington covered. Won. By 10 plus, And that's what should have happened in this game. Washington did everything they could to lose the game, despite being the much better team.
That's what you kind of
the
said.
muff punt in the first half. I was freaking out in my living room. I was going berserk. The running back injury timeout at the end of the game was also insane. They should have just actually kneeled, and then they would have. I mean, Texas would have gotten the ball with like maybe 20 seconds left at their own 20-yard line. Like, I don't understand why they even ran the ball, but it is what it is. You know, they played very aggressive, and I respect it. Then on the punt, running into the fair catch penalty there, that was really bad. And then just playing really bad prevent defense down the stretch at the very end. You know, even though I knew I was going to cover the whole time, I've been rooting for Penix so hard, and I really want to see him in the national championship. And man, oh man, was that crazy. Bad play calls by Sark, too. I know Jimbo's favorite. Really bad there.
Favorite play
too.
caller.
Bad play calling, like at first, second, third, fourth, and goal in multiple games tonight. But, you know, Washington's defense played worse than I thought, and I was disappointed in that because they really improved throughout the season on the defensive side of the ball. And I didn't think this was going to be a shootout, but it was. But yeah, Michael Penix is the best player in college football. He should have won the Heisman, and this was the best game of the year for him. He played with the chip on his shoulder. He was incredible. I love watching this guy play. Oh, my God. I love him. I love him. I love him.
Oh, my God.
The Pats got Maserati Marv and drafted him in the second round, I'm all in at this point. I just love the dude.
Okay.
And it's only right that we get to see him play next Monday in the championship game. And I'll just go into a quick preview. I have no idea what the line is. I don't even think there's a line yet. But I'm going to assume Washington are underdogs again. I will be taking those points, and I will be sprinkling money line. This is a team of destiny.
Don't quit halfway through, though.
They've won a lot of games ugly,
Washington.
but they always win. And,
I can't believe I picked Penix.
You know, even though Michigan's defense is probably the best defense they'll play the whole year, Washington's offensive line is outstanding, and I think they will hold up against Michigan's D-line. And from there, it's just about, you know, letting Penix sling it to Odunze and to the other players on that team. I mean, their tight end made some big plays. I don't think he got a lot of yards tonight, but he's really good. You know, he's just got a lot of weapons. And hopefully the running back is able to play next week. And I don't think McCarthy and Michigan have a better offense than Texas, which is also a good sign from Washington's point of view.
Get to the point, please.
But, you know, they do. Washington's defense does need to be better next week. But this is going to be a fantastic game, guys. I'm really looking forward to it.
If they play it before
my head and heart
call.
both say Washington, and that's what I'm going to roll with. And I'm going to be rooting for my guy Penix so hard because he's the Heisman winner, 100%, 1,000%.
100,000%.
All right, there it is. There's Kevin for you.
Kevin, I know that you listen to this and you make fun of me for everything, but God, that was a long-winded call to say one or two things. But Kevin, you've been a great college football guy for us. I know you like Penix. I thought Penix played great. I don't trust that coach as far as I can throw him. I hate Harbaugh with a passion.
You just rooted for him.
But
don't
I still
give
hate
me the
him.
Harbaugh. You can't. No, you've lost all credibility.
I rooted for Michigan to win.
I hate Harbaugh. You don't.
I rooted for Michigan to win.
No,
I rooted
you
for
don't
Michigan
hate,
to win, not
whatever,
for
no. You don't get to claim you hate Harbaugh anymore after.
So do you want me to root
root
for Michigan again?
Yeah, you
Okay,
have
I'll
to.
pick Michigan.
And I got to root for Washington.
Yeah, you do have
really
to,
like
even
them.
though Penix is going to throw for 200 yards. But again, Texas made a few mistakes. Had a chance to win the game, four plays to win the game, didn't get it done. But that's how it goes in college football. So
the line, by the way, guess what it is?
4.5.
You saw it.
I did not see it. I didn't see it.
All right, come on. Nah, I don't know about that.
So we'll real quickly. You like Washington? Is that who your pick's going to be, or you just?
No, I love Michigan. I think Michigan's going to kill him. Honestly,
I think I agree. I have to agree with you.
Not kill him, but I think Michigan's. It won't like score. It won't be like a Georgia beating TCU by 1,000.
Yeah, I
but
agree
I
with
think
that.
it'll be like it could be like 28 to 7.
Yeah,
No, you know what though? I think Washington's offense is. I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea. Maybe Washington. You know what? I'll stick to it. 28-10, Michigan.
So you like Michigan as well?
But there's no way they hold them to 10 points. Now that I'm thinking about it, Washington has a chance, honestly, because they have the offense. Their offense is good enough, and I don't know if Michigan's played an offense this good all year. Like Kevin says, they haven't played Washington's not played a defense like Michigan's. Have they played an offense like Ohio,
Penn State?
Washington?
Ohio State?
Yeah, Penn State and Ohio State with
State?
McCord is not that
No way.
good.
No
Maserati
way.
Marv's tough to guard, and Alabama's offense was not that impressive. This is actually.
I think you're right
It
on
won't
that.
be as bad as I
think
thought.
you're
Now
right.
that I talked myself out
I
of
think
that.
you're right. I'm going to go Michigan 35-28.
Yeah, you know what? I like that score a lot.
Yeah,
but
Michigan.
I'll go Washington 31, Michigan 28. No, yeah.
31-28?
And they'll get a field goal, so I'll go 34-31.
34-31?
I can't imagine Michigan gives up that many points.
Michigan covers the 4.5. Yes or no? Michigan covers 4.5. Yes or
Well,
no?
I just picked Washington to wins.
So no, they don't cover.
But I think they are. Like, I'm playing both.
So they don't cover. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, Washington's going to win.
Washington's going to win.
Because Harbaugh
All right.
has to choke.
All right,
He has
good.
to. The lights will
Good.
go out or something, like in the
Good.
Super Bowl.
I like the, yeah, that's true. Hey, as we talk about bowl games, just to bring this up, he talked about Penn State and Iowa and Kentucky and Tennessee and all that crap. What the hell's happened to bowl games? Florida State, half their defense doesn't show up. Penn State, half their play. We're not going to have them next year,
We're
right?
good next year, though. We're
So
fine.
what do we do with
fixed
it? What do we do with the crappy
Who
ones
cares?
that nobody
Nobody
makes
cares anyways. Really, nobody. Unless it's like your
Nobody
school and
cares.
Temple's in the bowl game, then nobody
ESPN
really
cares. ESPN wants the
cares a
programming.
little bit, but who cares?
They want the programming.
But ESPN's getting there's. We're going from how many bowl games were totally ruined by transfers? 8.
More than that.
Okay.
Okay, let's go
say
10.
8.
Let's
Let's
go
say
10.
8. But they're adding 8 playoff games next year.
I agree with you.
So
I
that's
agree.
going to help with
I
the
agree with you.
TV and all that.
Okay.
So I don't really care. You know what?
Okay, so
Everyone
let me
can
ask you a question then.
Kirby Smart saying
let me ask you a
he
question.
killed him so bad to prove a
Well,
point.
no, he didn't. He killed him back
Get
because he
outta
wanted to
here.
kill him. A simple question is this. Will anyone opt out or go to transfer portal that's in
No.
the playoff field of 12?
No.
No starters, though.
Maybe like a 10,
never-
11, 12 team, but no. When has anyone in the top 4 opted out? Never.
Nobody
That
has.
never
I'm just
happens.
saying,
So, yeah, no.
what happens? What happens if you're the 12th team and
If you're the 12th team, you don't have a
you're gonna
chance
go to the
anyway, so
portal
who
anyway,
cares?
and you want to get into the portal so you get to the right place.
Look, that 5-12 team, that 5-12 game is going to be a blowout most years anyways. So
Well, then they're going to have to fix that, too.
but there's nothing, you can't fix that. There's only 5-6 teams.
That's true.
And really, there's only like 2-3 teams every year that can win a national championship.
That's
Georgia, Michigan, and Alabama.
That is probably very
Washington,
true.
I guess.
And I understand why they opt out, and I understand why they transfer. Opt out because you don't want to get hurt. You're going to make them. They're going to be an NFL draft.
What's the
Why do
point
you
of
wanna blow
playing
your knee out? Right.
the big boy mowers bowl when like you could be the top 10 pick?
I don't know if it's the big boys mowers. Something mowers. You're right though.
What was the one that Temple won? The Gildan shirt bowl?
Yeah, the Gildan Bowl
they
out
make
in
like
New
t-shirts.
Mexico. Yeah, that's in New Mexico. That was their first one.
Wife beater T-shirts.
That was the one they won with Adazio. Can you believe they won a bowl game with Steve Adazio
They
as a
beat
coach?
Wyoming by like 1,000. They never won one with Matt Rule. Lost the bowl game
Yes,
and then
he
he
did.
left.
And
they
he
lost
left
the
them,
next one.
Yeah, they've struggled. We'll leave them out of the picture because they're not getting any NIL money. So it's not going to happen.
Yeah, they're terrible.
So college football, really, I have to say those.
Shout out
games,
Arizona. They won. They beat Oklahoma. I know, but that's another one where Oklahoma's quarterback was gone. But Arizona really ended up having a good season.
They did, and I actually got to see them
I
play.
saw
You're right.
they just lost in basketball again.
Yeah, I know. I was going to bring that up at the end, but I won't because if Joe's listening, he'll go, Uncle Joe, he'll be all mad. Again, great
They
football
gave like
games.
100 points.
Great football games. Great football games. That was because Stanford kept hitting 3-pointers.
I wasn't watching.
Great football games over the weekend, college-wise. NFL. Let's switch to the NFL. We don't have any nothing from Justin today.
I think I could call him right now if you want to call him.
Well, why don't I talk while you call him, and then we'll see if we get him on the air. We're going to do it right now.
Do we have like a plan for what we're going to do with him? Anything?
Yeah, we're going to ask him about the NFL. I want to ask him. I got
I'll
a couple
text him
questions.
see if he's around right now.
So we're going to try to get Jay Trev here online live. We haven't done that, and I'd love to get him on live on the phone because NFL's really been crazy. There's really 2 teams that have been dominant. Every time I think a team's going to do well, they crap the bed. Like I thought Buffalo was on a roll. New England goes in there and they crap the bed. Josh Allen just craps the bed. So nothing worse than the Eagles in Miami. And then you've got the Dallas-Detroit fiasco, which I want to ask him about too. So let's ask him about who his favorite teams are.
So you have questions for him because I got
Yeah, I got
really nothing.
ready.
I honestly, the
I got
NFL
ready. I'm ready for it.
I was focused
I'm ready
on
for it.
getting to this Alabama Michigan game that ended up so
I'm
disappointing.
going to do that.
He said, "Yeah, give me a ring in 2." So
2. Okay, so I got 2 minutes
he
to
probably
waste.
doesn't want to talk about the Pats game, but Jesus, Bailey Zappi. I wish I had the audio. I heard it driving in. It's of Zolak on the call talking about like we've been calling all year for the backup to come in. After watching this performance, we should be calling for Mac Jones to come in too. And he was calling for Mac Jones to come in the game. That's how Pat Zappi was. This kid doesn't have a clue. It was great audio. I wish I had
And
it.
the irony is they were in that football game. They were in that football game because Josh Allen was garbage, absolute garbage. So just to warn you, we're trying to get Jay Trev so we could get some audio. You know, I can put that down to 0 until he's ready to go, but you won't be able to hear it. So What do we got? What do we got on time for J Trev? Oh, this is like live. This is real, true live podcasting here.
We said give me a ring in 2. I don't really know what that means. So
That's 2 minutes.
I know, but like.
So 2 minutes. I've already bloviated for 2 more minutes.
No. That Bills game. So the Bills.
Oh, jeez.
So the Pats, the big game against the Jets next week, have to lose, get the third pick. Then you most likely, if you have the third pick, you know what? Because someone's going to trade up for the first pick, so you probably won't get one of the quarterbacks. I would love for them to take Marv. I just don't know if I see them doing it. I could see them trading down. But the Bills, Josh Allen's going to have one of those games in the playoffs, and I can't see them winning just because of that. They might not make the playoffs, right? If they lose next week.
They can win the division if they beat Miami.
I know, but if they lose next week, I think there's a chance
they can get it. But I don't know if
there's actually a big chance.
Because what happens?
Jay Trev will know.
We'll ask him that question. Is he ready?
I'm just going to call him if he doesn't.
Here we go. This is the most exciting thing we've done on the podcast in a while. It's like when you were by yourself calling Tommy T. Yeah. I don't want to call Tommy T without being.
So it works. It's 50-50 chance this works.
All right, Jack is calling in 1-800.
All right, it looks like it's working.
J Trev, I'm listening.
Wait, I want to see him. Yep,
can you hear it ring?
Oh yeah.
One ringy dingy.
Boyle.
Justin,
there
can
he
you
is.
hear us?
What's up?
Hey, it's good to have you on here live. This is awesome.
What's going on?
Hey, this is great. I'm glad that you're in here. Let's see.
Turn him up a little bit.
Yeah, I got to turn you up because you're a little light on us on the phone. You must. Hey, what are you on? One of those 1980 phones you hang up on the wall?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured that.
Got it on the landline.
Yeah. Hey, listen. We were talking NFL and we figured, what the hell? Let's bring Justin in. And I know you watched every game. I just want to ask you 3 or 4 questions. First of all, other than Baltimore and the San Francisco 49ers, who the hell has the chance to win the Super Bowl?
I really think it's going to come down to one of those 2 teams, Jim. When you talk about some of the other teams at the top, like the Cowboys, Eagles, even the Dolphins, I just think that they have too many deficiencies that have now become common trends that I just don't see turning around as we end the year. So.
All right, so let's look at those 3 teams. Cowboys, deficiency, what is it?
First of all, on the road.
Yep.
They struggle on the road. They can't, between Mike McCarthy, clock management.
He's terrible.
And then the offense firing on all cylinders. It's just when they get on the road, they just they fail to kind of. I think the crowd they have at home, I think that helps them get up for games, and it's not a great sign. A lot of their offense revolves around motion and line of scrimmage adjustments, and it's hard to do that on the road. So. I think that's a big part of it.
All right, Eagles. I can guess their defense is absolute garbage.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
a lot of statistics, like they're either second to last or last, and then the eye test. It's just their game on Sunday. That was the worst. That was the worst defensive performance I've seen all season.
Yeah, they were up 21-3, right? Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I called my dad. I give him hell for it. They sucked.
Their locker room seems to be fracturing a little bit too
Huge.
right now.
Yeah, because one of the things I heard.
Star receivers always could
Yeah.
end up causing problems when things go wrong.
Well, it's not just that. I read somewhere that Brown and Reddick, who are their 2 dynamic players, offense and defense, for some reason they're not utilizing the way people expect them to utilize them. Do you see that, Justin?
Yeah, I do. I mean, when Reddick was at his best, he probably had his best 2 seasons as a pro the last 2 years. And the Eagles actually led the league in sacks last year, mostly behind him. They were just letting him tee off. And I've noticed this year, and I think it's because of lack of depth with their linebackers, they're using him more as an off-ball guy.
Yep.
And that's not what he does best. You just got to let him line up as a 4-down edge rusher and let him get to the quarterback. And I think they have him in a middle ground where he's thinking more than he's playing, and he's not, playing free and getting after the passer as much as he should be.
Okay, and then finally, the team that really shite the bed last weekend, the Miami Dolphins. Where's the problem? And is it that their star receiver got hurt, or their quarterback's average, or where do you see that one going, Miami?
Yeah, I think that's a combination of things. I'm a Tua fan. I've been a big Tua fan since he came out, but he's not a perfect quarterback. He has some limitations, especially when he's throwing outside the numbers. When McDaniels and the rest of the offensive staff, then when they're not able to scheme up things in the middle of the field, and then when Tyreek and Waddle aren't out there, creating yards after the catch, you're kind of forcing Tua to make some big time throws outside the numbers. And, throughout his career, that's been his biggest weakness. So I think a lot of that was shown this past week against the Ravens. On defense, they're dealing with a good amount of injuries now, and I just don't know if they have the horses, with those injuries. I think they have some depth concerns. And then just the overall physicality of the team. I feel like in some of these big games, and I don't know if this comes from the top down with the culture McDaniel sets or, if it's the players on an individual level, but I just feel like, they don't have the toughness as a team like the Ravens would. And, that kind of came up big time. And, they were just kind of out physical in both lines of scrimmage.
Okay, final team I want to ask you about is the Chiefs. We watched them come back a little bit with field goals, Butker. Where do you see them, and any chance for them to make it or win the Super Bowl?
I'd put it at a small chance. Again, I think it's because now we've seen a large sample size of their struggles throughout the season. But honestly, outside the Ravens, I'd probably say they have the best shot in the AFC just because of their head coach quarterback combo. You can never rule them out. But, I see them struggling to go on the road and win a game or two and then, winning the 3 or 4 games that are necessary to win the whole thing.
What, Jack?
It's just so funny to hear J-Trev say the head coach quarterback combo when the head coach is Andy Reid and the stuff that he used to say about Andy Reid back before he was a Super Bowl champion. It's just Andy Reid's really, changed the perception on him with everyone.
This is true.
He's like an all-time great coach
This
now.
is true. Well, Justin's got a better eye now for it, too. I give him credit for that. At least he can admit his mistakes and move on. 2 other questions. The Cleveland Browns and Joe Flacco's unbelievable rise to get them to actually maybe the second best record in the AFC. How far can they go with that defense, and does the Flacco magic run out?
That was my pick.
It was. Funny thing.
Yeah, I think the Flacco magic runs out at some point here down the stretch. And that's through no fault of Flacco. I mean, the guy, he's been sitting on his couch the entire season, wasn't even on a roster. And he's up there in age too. So just to see him playing the way he's playing amid some of the circumstances, I mean, it's pretty impressive. But the way Flacco's always played, even in his prime, he's usually good for 1 or 2 big mistakes a game in the turnover department. And I think in the playoffs, when things get tighter, teams are, they're more prepared to their opponent. I think those 1 or 2 bad plays that he might have coming down the pike might be too tough to overcome, especially since the amount of injuries they're dealing with. And, they've done a hell of a job getting by those, but 30% of their salary cap is on injured reserve right now. And, that's tough for any team to overcome. But shout out to Flacco.
Is this the year defense wins championships, or we get offense win championships? Because I know that the 2 teams that are top have both good offenses and good defenses. Kansas City's got a great defense. What do you, just 2-second answer, defense, offense?
Well, who's going to win is basically the question.
Oh, he's going to pick.
I like the Niners still.
You do?
He is, yeah.
Hey, I do.
Good.
Wait, where's the Super Bowl? Do you know where the Super Bowl is?
Vegas.
Okay, yeah.
Vegas, baby.
Why the Niners? Why the Niners over the Ravens?
I know it's tough to say it after the game we just saw between those 2 teams 2 weeks ago, but I just think they're still a little more well-rounded. I still think their top players, outside of the quarterback position, I think that they have the more elite players such as, Trent Williams and, the weapons like Kittle and Samuel and Ayuk. I actually think the Ravens top to bottom, they have less weaknesses, but I think, in a potential matchup between those 2 teams in the Super Bowl, I think the 49ers higher level talent could win out, especially, that old saying that it's tough to beat a team twice.
Mm-hmm.
I think Shanahan would make the necessary adjustments.
It's even tougher to beat a team 3 times. That's a college basketball ruse. Jack, question?
That'd be funny if we had a Harbaugh win both championships to win the college and the NFL. Just real quick, because the season's almost. Who's the best coach in the NFL? If you had to pick one coach right now, who's the best coach?
You're saying in terms of like scheme, just in terms of like program?
If you were an owner right now and you could have one coach to coach your team, who would it be?
Jack stumped him. Tough question, Jack. I like that question for
No,
Jay
it's a
Trev.
good question because I feel like the past few years you just revert to Belichick or Reed, but just the way things have gone this year, and then even guys like Tomlin, the last few years they've been a little down. I'd probably say, and it's great, I'd probably say Kyle Shanahan, to be honest with you. I just think what he's doing in terms of scheme is so advanced, and just his guys always seem to play really hard for him.
Hey, Justin, was he in Atlanta for the 28-3 debacle?
It's funny.
He pulled the Tommy Reese.
When I just said it's hard to believe, that's what I had in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
But he's come a long way from that.
I got two more things for you. I want to just get your opinion on. One, Jack's going.
Well, it was the reason I asked that question, the coach question there, was because I feel like a guy like John Harbaugh never is mentioned in those conversations. And am I overrating him? Is he not in that tier of coaching?
No, he definitely should be. The program and consistency that he runs there, I think he's easily a top 5 coach in my opinion. And I think the fact that he doesn't control a side of the ball gets used against him unfairly.
Okay.
Because, his background came as a special teams guy, so he's never had a chance to coordinate an offense or defense. So I think he doesn't get credit for, when you talk about the Ravens the past 10 years, you've talked about, Greg Roman or now Mike McDonald and the new offensive coordinator, Todd Monken. You talk about those coordinators who have such a big influence on the entire operation. But in reality, Harbaugh is the one overseeing everything, hiring these coordinators and, having his team in a position to make the playoffs every single year. So I definitely do think he deserves that credit.
Jay Trev, you just gave the true definition of what a head coach is. They're right there. He hires, he fires, he makes final decisions. Doesn't have to be great on one side or the other of the ball to be successful. Great description of what a head coach is.
And that should be, people use it against him. That should be used for him. He's willing to reinvent his offense. With a Joe Flacco type quarterback, with a Lamar Jackson, he's not arrogant and has to do it his way. He's willing to adapt and stuff. And they have a good chance of winning the Super Bowl. I think they're the best team in the NFL.
Jay Trev, I want to ask real quick about Dallas-Detroit, the end of that game, then I have a question about a coach. So what from your perspective, who screwed up and who screwed up the second time?
What do you mean second time? Sorry, Jim.
Well, once they got the penalty, who screwed up after that?
Oh, yeah. So I think, that penalty gets accepted. You go back to the 7-yard line.
Yep.
I know Dan Campbell, his whole motto is based on aggressiveness and giving his team a chance to win. And, the guys really feed off that belief that he has in them. But in that situation, the ball gets pushed back to the 7. It's one play. It's pretty much a 4th and goal. I think you have to kick it at that point. Just, bite the bullet. You got a little jobbed with that call.
Yeah.
But, live to.
Does it go back? Question: If you're going to kick it, does it go back to the 7 or does it go back to the 25? Where would it go? If they took the penalty, they move back to the 7 only if you're going to go for 2. If they're going to go for the extra point, don't you move back to the 25 and kick it?
Yeah, so that would be like a 38.
Right,
yarder.
wherever they set it up. Okay, and I think you can bitch all you want about the bad call, but you know what? Man up, kick the extra point, try to win in overtime because it's going to cost them the second seed. And to me, he's done a great job there, but that's a horrible, horrible coaching decision. Even going for 2 at that point is horrible because Jack wanted Nick Saban to go for 2 at the end of overtime, and they never scored, so they didn't get a chance. So I just wanted to get your quick uptake on our friends from Dallas and Detroit. Final thing, Belichick, yes or no? Fired, yes or no?
Do I think he should or will he?
Okay, do you think he will?
No.
Do you think he should?
Nope.
Well, then why did you ask me? Why did you ask me? Oh, God, Jay Trev. You're going to drive me insane, buddy. You're going to drive me insane. That's the greatest answer ever. That is the best answer ever. That is, where did Bill Belichick go to college?
When Jay Trev said he didn't think he was going to get fired, I thought he actually was going to say he wanted him to get fired, and I was going to be stunned.
I did too.
That was funny that he said no.
I did too.
Just to clarify.
Now, would you fire him from like, would you take a lot of responsibility away from him in like personnel decision making, stuff like that, and like drafting?
100%. I think you have.
What if he said no? I don't want to give that stuff. Would you fire him then?
Yeah, I guess. But at that point, I think it would kind of be. I mean, now we're talking semantics now, but I think that would
you're
be
right, Justin.
Mutual splitting. But
yeah,
I think you gotta, he can still have a large say in it, but you still. In today's NFL, with everything that's going on, it's too much to have control of a personnel department and then run your own team. And, the personnel decisions that he's made over the last 5-7 years have kind of culminated in where the team is now. So I think getting another guy in there, whether it's Matt Groh, who's there now, or, bringing a new face in to head up the department, I think you need to get another voice in there, and hopefully they could work in tandem.
I think, Justin, I agree with that. I think if it comes down to personnel decisions, he's going to make Kraft fire him, so Kraft has to pay him. I don't see the mutual part. If Kraft's either going to have to fire him or not. I think it comes down to Kraft tries to work something out, and he goes. And there's a couple really good jobs that are open up, and if they're not going to do that, they got to draft a quarterback. So it's simple. No matter what you do, you're going to draft a quarterback. And it doesn't matter who's drafting it, Belichick or somebody else. If they can draft a quarterback, they're going to draft a quarterback. But I agree with you. I don't think it's time. I think he's run into a problem that every coach runs into almost in the history of the NFL. If you don't have a quarterback, your team's crap most of the time, and he ran into that. So, Jay Trev, our NFL expert, I want to thank you for joining us here on the podcast today instead of us reading your diatribes, which we love, by the way. And we hope that you've had a good New Year's, and 2024 is better for you than 2023 was for me. I'm kidding. So, any last words, Jay Trev?
Yeah, appreciate you guys having me on. Hope you guys had a happy New Year too. Hope you guys enjoyed the 2 games yesterday, and look forward to the end of this football season. Should be good.
All right, you know what? We're going to talk baseball next, so we're going to let you go. Tell Tommy T we said hi if you see him.
All right,
All right, Jay Trev, see you. Thanks for calling in.
Later, Jack.
Later.
Yes, sir. Later.
All right, that was great. That was great having Jay Trev on instead of reading his stuff, getting to hear his thoughts on all the teams, him going into detail a little bit. That was awesome.
I agree with you. And you know what? If now that we can get all this to work, we can have a couple more callers. We're going to try to get that Zoom stuff working here in the studio.
You won't let me call Tommy Reese.
Because Tommy Reese.
to ask him what he was doing.
Yeah, we're not calling Tommy. So
leave him a voicemail.
So eventually when I take the road trip on the road there with your mom, we're going to have me call in on the Zoom so they can always see my pretty face as well as hear my pretty comments. But thanks, Jay Trev. Thanks, Kevin. He who should not be named Kevin. And, Jack, let's move on to my favorite subject and yours.
Yeah, we've been talking a while here. This will be it. This will be our last topic.
Yes, it is the last topic. Your Boston Red Sox. And what a weekend we just had. What a 5-6 day stretch we had. They didn't just do that. But you know what?
Good, yeah.
Give Breslow a lot of credit. Breslow has done in 2 weeks, undone, the last two general managers' crappiest moves ever. He got rid of Verdugo, and he got rid of Sale. So let's take the Sale piece, because we talked about Verdugo earlier. What's your opinion on the Sale thing? Vaughn Grissom, who looks like he's going to play second base.
Prayers answered. I was sick of Chris Sale. I was sick of him talking a good game about how he's working really hard and then coming back and getting injured. And it sucks that I'm stealing all this money from the Red Sox. You know how many times he said that? Like, I make so much money. It sucks that I can't help the team. But all right, I don't care. I was gonna be sick when he got hurt again. Remember we talked on the podcast was it 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago?
Yes.
And Chris Sale, it's announced, of course, that Sale's starting opening day. I bet you $1,000 Sale didn't start opening day. You'd be injured, blah, blah. I did not think he'd be traded. I mean, that came out of nowhere, sitting there, he's traded.
Yeah, that's true.
I couldn't believe what they got for him. A guy who's going to be their everyday second baseman, so we don't have to watch all these dudes from AAA that everyone says is like
the High Bloom guys.
The second coming of Dustin Pedroia.
Yeah.
So, no, great trade. Great trade. I love it. And the Giolito signing, it's really a low-risk signing. But like I said about him, and it's not going to be, he has to be your third best pitching acquisition for you guys to have a successful offseason. You need 2 more better pitchers. So whether that's you trade, I know if you want Luzardo, you might have to trade one of your top, who's their top 3 guys? They have Meyer, Anthony, and who's the other guy? Blyce?
Teal.
Okay.
They're not trading Teal, don't worry.
All right, so the thing is, I heard you might have to trade one of those 3 for him, but if you could do like a package of Duran and York and a
Right.
couple other
Some of your other
prospects for
prospects.
Luzardo
Yeah.
or one of them, 100%, and then sign Montgomery, and then Giolito's your third best pitching acquisition. And I'll say, hey, that's a pretty good offseason. Maybe try and get Turner back. They're not going to. Maybe get Teoscar Hernandez. We'll see. It's not over. There's still guys out there. There's still moves to be made. It was a step in the right direction, but then articles come out about John Henry putting a cap on them that was below the luxury tax last year. And so I don't know what to believe. And then you got the idiots, they're signing Mbappe in Liverpool. That's why Mbappe's not going to Liverpool. Come on.
Okay.
Get out.
Okay, Mister.
Don't get me on that rant.
Jack, he got your man you had off for Christmas. Like, listen, my rant will be this: the thing about the Henry not want to sign, I think that's an agent coming out and just trash talking Henry because he didn't get what he wanted. I believe that Henry's looking to tighten his belt because
Who didn't get what they wanted this year? What player?
Whoever, whatever. Not from the Red Sox, they didn't get it. I like the sale deal. A couple of reasons. It frees up a little bit of cap space or money. It's going to be. It was dead money anyway to them. They got a kid they control who's got some pretty good rep. Might not be the greatest defensive player in the world, but at least it's some guy with some kind of talent at second base. Frees up them. Nick York to be traded.
The best regular season Red Sox team
ever.
ever didn't have a good defensive second baseman at all. So second base.
That's because their best defensive second baseman for the last 50 years got hurt that year.
Problem is their third baseman's a terrible defender and their first baseman's a defender. Story's a pretty good defender, I think, though, if he can stay healthy. But
Yeah.
we'll see.
Let's go back to the Giolito thing. I don't totally agree with you on needing 2 more acquisitions.
Oh, they do.
I think they
100%.
need at least 1 more major acquisition. I would say, if you can sign one of
Major
the
as
3
in
or
what do
4
you consider major?
being a Montgomery, a Snell type of thing.
I wouldn't think that's
And then-
major.
and then,
Snell maybe. Montgomery.
It depends. Snell, no. I don't want Snell. I'd take Montgomery over Snell. I would take the Japanese guy over Montgomery and Snell. I would take one of the pitchers from Miami if they could make a deal with him. I think the next thing we're going to see, though, is they're going to try to extend Cashus and Bale. I think that's the next thing he's got to do. And then we got to see what he can do. Got to give the guy credit. I give him a lot of credit. You and I fight about this all the time. And I got to give him credit for now. He's at least doing something positive that he looks like he has a plan of what he wants to do. Hein Bloom was always just getting rid of shit, but bringing in all these crappy, shitty little players and hope he hit a home run on like Enrique Hernandez 3 years ago. This guy looks like he at least has a plan as to what he wants to try to accomplish and how he's going to accomplish it. So as we move forward down the line this winter, they do need another pitcher, at least 1, probably 2. If they want to compete in the East, they need that. Then they need these other players, the Raphaels and the Durans, if they don't trade him, and all these younger players need to be able to take that next step up so they have some kind of organizational depth at the major league level. But like I said to you, I read the Peter Gamma's quote, tweeted something out where he talked about there's no face of the franchise player here, even though Devers makes a lot of money. They do not have a face of the franchise, where they almost all the time they did. They always had Pedroia. They always had Bogarts. They always had Betts. They always had David Ortiz. And then the other thing is there's not a lot of veteran leadership right now, and that's where Turner might come into play, which will hurt. What's so funny?
I just randomly. This is so nothing. We'll talk about it.
I can't wait to hear this.
No,
Jack's not
I
listening.
just all of a sudden, we're talking about the Red Sox and blah, blah, blah. One thing about you said the plan. It does look like we're actually, and I would really appreciate this, if we go into the season where we actually have like a team of 9 players, position players in a team, or 8 position players in a team of 5 pitchers.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
last year,
that'd be
it felt
great.
like they didn't have a second baseman, didn't have a shortstop, didn't have a this, didn't have a that.
We were subbing
didn't
in
have
there.
had 2 pitchers, didn't blah blah blah. So it looks like this year, it looks like he's got a second baseman. Story, hopefully he's healthy. He's got a shortstop. You have your first baseman, third baseman. You have, you're good enough in the catcher department. You probably need to get figure out the center field position. You're good in the outfield. It looks like they're going in the right direction a little bit, but again, if this is it, then it's a horrible offseason.
I would say this is definitely not it, by the way. There's no way this is it. Now, back to that rumor, who knows, where these riders, he could have gotten it from a real reliable source. That might be what they want to do this year, because now they got to think about, they want to see how these, we'll call them prospects because they're prospects, how all these prospects play out over the next year. If Mayer comes out and is not hurt, he's going to be your shortstop in the future.
As long as he doesn't suck.
Yeah,
still.
yeah, but he's not. I would think that most times these guys don't make too many mistakes at that top level. But his is going to be an injury piece. If he ends up being like Corey Seager, I'll take it, right? That's whose comp was?
What?
That's just kind of
No,
a story
no, I'd be disappointed. I'm
You would be
I'm
disappointed.
I'm expecting Honus Wagner, not Corey Seager. Come on, if he's Corey Seager,
I was
would
expecting.
you take it?
Oh,
No.
Honus Wagner. Jack pulls out Honus Wagner.
That's my greatest moment ever.
Greatest moment ever.
My
Do you want to
great-
tell that story?
No,
real
no,
quick?
no.
Jack's going to tell the story.
No, I just
Jack,
knew
come on,
it.
tell
No,
the story.
it's no story. We're in Florida on like vacation. Some guy, I'm wearing a Pirates hat. I'm like 10 years old. Some dude asked me who's the best Pittsburgh Pirate ever, and I said Honus Wagner, and he thought it was like, wow, this kid's smart. He knows his stuff, obviously.
It's where you grew up in. That's
I was laughing because we should quote first. A wise man did once say, players used to come to the Boston Red Sox to win championships. Now they leave to win championships. Maz with the funniest tweet I've ever going, dude, Chris Sale literally threw the last out of the World Series here. Relax with that. Like, it's a good move. It's a positive move. You don't have to trash them at all the points. But I laughed because Maz, another tweet he had, he tweeted about how it's like the deepest Hall of Fame ballot he's ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
And then he only voted for two guys, and it was A-Rod and Manny. So he basically voted for nobody that has a chance.
Yeah,
And he talked about how deep the ballot was. I don't know why that came into my head. I started
I
laughing.
know. A lot of things pop into your head today, Jack. We haven't been on the air for.
Deepest ballot ever. He voted for nobody.
You know, it's been almost 2 weeks since we've recorded a podcast, so you're getting all this stuff blanked out of your head. Back to the Sox. In the real world, they don't have enough depth anyway. In the fake world, the Bluminati would say they have great depth now. They picked up this Vaughn Grissom kid. Where do you see them ending up with what prospects they have, and what's the best way for them to improve their team with this list of like 5 or 6 prospects that they have?
But I said trade. You got to make
Who
the trade.
would you-
You gotta get the
who-
picture.
okay.
I said Luzardo. I proposed you the trade. I don't know if that's enough though.
Luzardo, who they got from Oakland, right?
Maybe.
Yes, Miami got him from Oakland, I think. Wasn't Luzardo with Oakland?
I don't think so.
And the other guy is the Cabrera guy,
I think
right?
you might be thinking of a different guy.
I am. You know, I'm thinking of the outfielder. That's a great arm.
Because I think Luzardo's controllable for like 5-6 years. So
5-6 years. You gonna look that up? Or you want me to look it up?
I got it for you. You just
Yeah,
keep
Jackson, look it up. So I think I would say as of now, Meyer, Anthony, and Teal would be almost untouchable unless you get the greatest deal you ever got, which means you'd have to get a Chris Sale type of guy in his prime. There's no guarantee that Luzardo's a Chris Sale type.
No, you're right. He was on Oak. This
Of course
is the
I'm
guy
right.
I'm thinking.
Hold
No,
on,
This
hold on,
is
I'm
weird.
right.
It's weird because
He got drugged. He was a drug problem, right? No.
I don't know. This is
The other
strange.
guy had the drug
I
problem.
remember Jesus Luzardo, and I thought this was a different. I honestly thought this was a different guy. This is embarrassing for my Honus Wagner after I was bragging. I didn't even know this is the same Jesus Luzardo. No, he had a really good year last year. But
Who did they pick up? Who did they trade for?
I don't know.
Probably crap for.
That's what I don't get about all these Miami rumors and trades, and why I keep talking about them, but they're kind of hard to believe. Why would Miami trade these guys? What's
Because
the
they
point of
have
trading young, controllable pitchers?
That's true. They have the who was the guy who was the big outfielder? Loreno? Remember him?
I don't-
With a great arm, could throw from the
The
outfield.
Marlins?
No, Oakland.
Ramon Loreno.
Loreno.
He got in the fight one year.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
No,
yeah.
yeah, I remember him.
He was Oakland too. Oakland
Big
has
arm
some-
Oakland, Yoenis Cespedes.
Oakland's got a lot of stuff going for him out there.
No, they don't.
I am just kidding.
I know.
They get to move to
They
Vegas.
traded Matt Olson, got nothing for him. They traded Matt Chapman. I don't think they got anything for him. They traded. I don't know if there's anyone else, but they've done horrible trading away their talent and trying to replenish it. But we'll see when they go to Vegas. Things change.
You never know. Maybe they'll get more money in Vegas. They're going to roll the dice, as they would say in Las Vegas. Red Sox, other than that, season tickets, I got to pay for them this month. Is it worth it? I don't know.
No, John Henry's an idiot. No, it's someone said it's hard to win 4 world championships for the Boston Red Sox and still have everybody hate you.
Well, that's always going to happen. This is what's
No, but
happening.
this doesn't need to happen. Look at the Dodgers. Look at what they're doing. What are we doing? What is he doing? Spend money. You have all these ticket prices, high ticket prices. How can we not spend?
Okay,
Why are we
the
a B
Dodgers
team
get to
now
the
and we're
playoffs
not an
every
A
year.
team?
Dodgers get to
I don't care.
When do they win?
I don't care
When
about
they
the
win?
titles.
When they win.
Dad, I don't care. They're going every single year. You know you're going to get a very good, competent team.
I
With the
agree
Red
with you on
Sox,
that.
what we're like most of the years we suck. Honestly, that shouldn't be happening to the Boston Red Sox.
But in Los Angeles, you know what else you get every year?
I don't know.
Good weather.
Yeah, cool.
You don't get it here. We get snow and shit here.
Yeah, but that all the more important that the teams are good, so we have something to look forward to. Look, it's freezing out right now. Guess who's playing tonight? The Celtics are probably going to piece the Thunder, who are like this young up and coming team. The unicorn, our unicorn, is going to go off on their unicorn. Wembanyama, by the way, one of the greatest dunks ever.
That was amazing
awesome.
dunk.
It was a finger roll dunk. He picked up his dribble in the 3-point line. It's like did it on the best shot blocker in the history of the guard position in the NBA.
All right, we're done with the Red Sox. Celtics. I mean,
Rolling. They answered after that Warriors game. They've been dominant. Jaylen Brown, phenomenal. Like Tatum's not been playing well, and Brown and Porzingis and Derek White. What are you going to say about him? Just they're phenomenal. They're great.
Who's better, Derek White or Michael Jordan?
That's what I said. Well, you were going. It was Jay Trev actually said, he's like, it's weird, but like I feel more confident with the ball in Derek White's hands late in games and close late games than with Jason Tatum. I was like, what are you talking about? Of course, I feel more confident with the ball in his hands than LeBron James and Michael Jordan. Like he's the best player ever.
Well, yeah, I agree because Michael Jordan's
him in that Pistons game.
Michael Jordan's like 60 years old now.
I know the Pistons. The Pistons won. Good for them.
Yes, they did. They did win. They did win. That's very true. So as we finish this out, it's Tuesday, January 2nd, right? So our esteemed high school basketball team, last time we talked to you, Jack and I went, we called the game was on WCTV versus the Shawshing Tech, and Shawshing Tech kid dropped 20 on us. A Wilmington kid from the Tech dropped 20 on us. You got to watch that game. Do they have a shot at winning 7 games now?
I don't know. I can't really predict their win total. They're good enough. Yeah, maybe. I don't look. It's not like I'm calling like it's the NFL where I know what the other teams have for talent.
That's
true.
I
can't make predictions really.
That's true. Well, we're going to a game tonight. See them play Lexington tonight. They got Lexington, Watertown, and then a couple of them. WCTV's next coverage will be on the Friday the 12th, which I will not be calling because I'm going to a baseball conference. So, good luck to our boys basketball team. The girls are playing really well too right now. I think they're like 5-2. They almost won a tournament at Tewksbury. So high school sports at Wilmington are getting into the dog days. The girls hockey team actually pretty good. Mike Mercier calls those games for us live on WCTV. Make sure we catch those as well. And final words from my friend Jack Boyle.
I don't like Tommy Reese. Kirk Herbstreit, pick it up. Better game. No more dog pictures. Just a disappointing day in the playoffs for me. I wanted Alabama, Texas because I wanted I wanted Alabama just to kill Texas because I thought they would. A little bit disappointed in Alabama. What else did we talk about? The NFL. Pats need to lose. The Bills suck. Chiefs, hopefully they win. And just getting into the good football, the part of the year where we actually start getting really good football games, like September and October and November. You get all these crappy football games, and now it's like you get teams with like double-digit wins playing each other in the NFL, and you get the playoffs, and then the playoffs are normally good games. So it's a good time of year for sports right now.
Yes, I agree with you as they start the playoffs. So it's been a very exciting hour here we get to spend with our listeners on It All Boils Down to This. And for Jack Boyle, I'm Jim Boyle, and we'll see you on down the road. Thanks for listening to this episode of It All Boils Down to This, recorded at WCTV studios in our hometown of Wilmington, Massachusetts. We're always open to any ideas, critiques, topics, and guests. So if anyone out there in podcast world needs to get a hold of us, we can be reached via email at jboyle22@comcast.net. Along with Jack Boyle, I'm Jim Boyle. Make sure to tune in to the next edition of It All Boils Down to This.